What's up, YouTube? Hey, I know it's been a while since I posted a video. It's been busy. That's life. I'm sure everyone gets it. When I have time to work on the truck, I don't have money for parts, and when I got, when I got money for parts, I don't got time. But apologize for not giving you guys an update sooner, but this is an update. It is the end of January 2024. The truck is behind me here. It is 65 degrees out at the end of January, so everything in the garage is sweating, all the steel. Let me get the camera turned around. I'll show you guys what we've been working on. Previous videos, the truck, I believe, has been nose in, got the truck drug out, turned around, and backed into the garage. Discovered some issues. Whoever did these cab corners and rockers, I know they were done really bad before, but as you can see, the body line here coming off the door lines up with the bed and everything's good there. Everything's level on the same plane, but down here, it is awful. And I believe that this bed, I don't know if it's pushed in or what the deal is, or maybe it's an optical illusion because of the cab corners done so bad and doesn't radius. I mean, I think someone just, I'm not sure what's under there. But that's something I need to address now that I'm seeing this side of the truck. The bed floor, I think the last video I posted, I don't know if I had the floor completely done. I know we were working on the door. But right now, the floor is done, besides just taking a buzzy wheel or a roll lock disc with some 60 grit probably and knocking each one of these spot welds down. My plan for the bed floor is I'm going to do, and this might change, but as of now, I'm going to do, I believe, the heck am I looking for? The tubs. I'm gonna do them in paint, probably a satin black, and the bed floor is gonna get Raptor lined, just in black. I'm not sure. I'll probably do all the sides and the headboard in that same Raptor bed coating. Here's something else that I'm concerned about. We have the steel strips that I put on here on top of steel. I probably should have primered underneath them with like a weld through primer. I did not, but my idea now is, I didn't know if it was a good idea, or maybe you guys can give me some input, because I've asked a couple people and I've got mixed answers. But these seams, I have seam sealer. That'd be stupid, or will the Rhino lining or the Raptor lining seal that? I just don't want it rusting and water getting between this, the strip and the bed floor. So any input on that would be appreciated. I am gonna seam seal instead of trying to weld all of this, which would be a little bit ridiculous. And I mean, it's quite capable of doing it, but all these edges around here, I am going to seam seal them, primer the floor, and then spray it with the Raptor liner. So that's my game plan there. If you guys have any input or any thoughts on that, seam seal that. These are all plug welded on there. You guys can see it. This is all plug welded, but there we got an 1/8 inch, gap, which I was going to use seam sealer around all that just to clean it up, prime it all, and then Raptor line it. So that's that. The hinges, everything works. These buttons work awesome. I only got one hand right now, so I can't do both at the same time, but my struts, everything is working really well. See if I can turn that light on. but it worked out really well. I do have brass bushings up there at the pivot points where the door hinges up towards the headboard. I also, which I don't know if you'll be able to see them, just so you guys know where I'm at here. Straight down, I got the air tank mounted. Got to take that sticker off. But on each side, the compressors are mounted to the frame. On both sides, I made a nice little sill plate out of there. I cut that out with, cut those brackets out with the arc droid, which if you guys do a lot of fab work, I would recommend using the arc droid or purchasing one. Handy tool. This side, the other compressor, and my battery tray I made. So, the next step. I'm gonna run to the hardware store, I think now, and this bed needs to come off. Everything that I can do to the bed at this point on the truck has been done. My headboard has a little bit of a bow, as most of them do. It is dished in slightly, so I'm gonna try to, with it off the truck, try to pull that back in, just to straighten it out. I do have rust up under that sill, and I think what I'm going to do is notch. I'm gonna get a piece of rectangular box tubing, and I'm gonna come in here, notch this out, and to mimic this flat sill here as opposed to this rounded, I'm gonna continue this flat across here and replace this whole section. So I got to see what the thinnest piece of thinnest wall box tubing I can get, because it doesn't have to be super heavy for that since it is boxed. So once the bed is off the truck, I figured that would be a lot easier to do and complete. I thought about patching it, but I'd say over 2/3 of it is coming through as far as rust. There you can see it. The center section isn't so bad. So that's the plan with that, but it would be a lot easier to do that off the truck. So get the bed off. I'm gonna park the bed. I'm gonna put it on a little wagon trailer jobby thing I got to get it out of the way. It's gonna have to stay in the garage here because it's not primered or painted. And as far as I understand, if you primer and then use that Raptor liner within a certain time frame, I think it's a week, you don't have to sand it and prep it again. So I'd like to do that all in one step. So I'm not primering it, waiting a month, and then having to sand everything and then primer it. So that's the plan. We're gonna get it off. Once the bed is off, like I said, I'm gonna park it on the trailer. The rear end needs to come out. While the rear end is out, a buddy of mine is taking it, and I ordered a Yukon. Is it Yukon? I think it was Yukon limited slip and new gears for it. We're gonna put a 373 gears in it, and I'm not sure what. I think that might be what's in it now, but I'm not 100% sure. So it was another, I don't know, a couple $100, and I got everything I needed to assure that, everything would work. I think I had $850 in the entire kit. So she will no longer be a one-wheel peel. Both of them will be able to burn both tires off. So once that's off and the rear end is out, I'm going to do some finish welds on the frame as far as the brackets and bed mount stuff, and wipe everything down, shoot it in primer, and then paint it. The paint, I'm not sure what paint I'm going to use. So recommendations on that for frame paint. Obviously, I'm going to primer it and paint it. I think I'm leaning towards mixing my own Rust-Oleum, either satin black or a battleship, like a dark battleship gray. I know Rust-Oleum has a gray. I thought about adding some black to it and darkening it up. My oldest son, Blake, he wants me to go with a lighter color so we can see the frame, and it's great, but this truck's gonna get driven. I don't want a white, white would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. You lift this deck up and you see white, but the truck's gonna be driven. It's not a show truck, and it's gonna be a mess. It's just gonna look dirty. So if I go with, I can add a little bit of color, we're going with a gray. That's the plan with that. This bedside, I got all the way down to bare metal. It's hard to see. I don't got a lot of room on this side of the garage, but that's down to bare metal. I still got to do the top here and a spot down here. But that's a bitch, sanding all that paint off without getting into the metal. You want to be aggressive with it, but you don't want to be too aggressive with it. You're getting into the metal. So it's just one of them things. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to head to the hardware store and get some 2x4s. I believe 2x4s would probably be the best, and then make an H bracket probably. And I lift from those straps with a chain hoist and try to get this bed off of here for the weekend so I can get the rear end out. Once the rear end's out, we can move forward with a lot of stuff, and maybe I'll have some more ambition to get things rolling here. But truck is looking awesome. The back right now, this is just to give you guys an update. The back is a Rideman Ranch kit as far as the frame notch goes. Have the Watts link to center it. That's not Rideman Ranch. The name of the guy that makes the Watts link escapes me right now, but I ended up actually customizing that a little bit to these upright brackets. I used that arc droid again to make new ones of those to get it where I needed to get it. But the back right now, you can see the bags. Well, it's hard to see, but the bags are inflated. And it is pretty much a ride height. The problem is the front is currently laying on the front cross member. The truck, as you can see, does sit very low, but to make things work and for it to go down the road, the front's going to have to come up 3 inches, 3 inches, which makes the back even higher, which, to do that, I got to put more air in the bags, which is going to give me a stiffer ride. So I'm torn between, I have an extra cross member. I'm torn between pancaking the front cross member, having to redo my steering. There's a whole ball of wax that comes with pancaking the front, and I really want to just drive this truck this coming spring, and we're getting close. So I'm battling myself mentally on what I want to do. Do I want to take the time and do it now, or do I want to get the rear end buttoned up, put in maybe some smaller bags that don't have as much rise in the back and run it, and then next fall focus on, save my money and focus on the front end. Technically, I could even go with a Rideman Ranch front drop member, and I could go to rack and pinion steering versus the steering that I have now. But I think I need to do it in steps. I think I just need to focus on one thing at a time here and not worry about the entire big picture right now. I think I need to focus on just getting the back to where I need it so I can move the truck. So once the rear end is out, everything's painted, I can start assembling it back together. And once it starts going back together, it should happen relatively quick. Things like, wires for the taillights need done. Fuel lines need to be made, which I think I have everything to do that. I got to plumb my air lines. I got to run cable for the battery, brake lines. I have all the stuff to do it, I think. So it's just a matter of getting one step done so I can get to the other one. So, being said, this is where we're at. Not sure what kind of time frame, but like I said, we're the end of January right now. So it being the end of January, January, February, March, I should set a goal. So I don't think it'd be unrealistic to say by the end of April, I should have this truck on the road. If I decide not to do the front drop member. If I decide to do it, I'm going to pancake my extra cross member. If I decide not to do it, I'm probably just going to wait, save my money, and go with a drop member already made and just slap it in there. But that opens up a whole other thing of worms, or a whole other can of worms. Because if I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to pull the front or pull the motor out of it. If I pull the motor out of it, that exposes the firewall, and the firewall should be done. So it's like, where do you stop? Any of you guys that have built these trucks, I'm sure you can relate. So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Give me some recommendations on the seam sealer and the paint for the frame. So thank you guys for checking us out, and stay tuned. Sorry it's been so long since the last video, but God bless, and I hope all's well. Thanks. Peace.